Season is almost over. Christian Ballard, sports journalist here at Ballard Sports Media. Hope everyone's doing great. A little bit different background, different setup for this video here. Parents going out of town and kind of have the house to myself right now, and figured I'd record outside the bedroom if I'm being honest. But hope everyone's doing great. Hey, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Love and appreciate you guys. We're on the road to I don't know what we're at. We're at like 1,400 right now. Let's get to 1,500 this year. Let's keep it going. Let's get monetized. I'm going to keep putting out content. I know I'm not the biggest expert. I know I get confused sometimes, and it might seem like maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But overall, I just love college football. I love talking about it any way possible and talking about it with you guys. So, drop your score predictions for the national championship down below in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think the X factors are, the keys to victory, and all that good stuff. So, what do you say we go ahead and we get into it? The national championship is set for 2026. Number 1 Indiana, number 10 Miami. We're here to preview and predict and break it down. You look at the matchup predictor, it gives Indiana a 68.3 percent chance to win the game. It gives Miami about a 31.7. Is that accurate? Is it too much for Indiana? I doubt it because they've looked like this has looked like for me the greatest college football team probably since not really since like Alabama, but I got 2019 LSU vibes when it comes to these 2025 Hoosiers, you know, and it's one of those things like you got a Heisman winning quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, but it's so much more than that. Like you have guys that went to the draft this past year, like Elijah Surratt or whoever, but then you got a guy in Omar Cooper, right? You got or not Surratt. They did lose a receiver last year that was good, I think. Not Surratt. I apologize. He's still there. So, but it's kind of funny. It started out this season without Elijah Surratt. I don't know who I'm thinking of that they lost. Anyway, scratch that. They have Elijah Surratt, and he's really, really good. And he started out to be the best receiver for this Indiana team this season. Based on the stats, Omar Cooper Jr. has more receptions, only by 2. Um, and he's got the most yards. And in a way, it's not really close. I mean, you got 802 for Surratt, 866 for Cooper. So it's kind of close, but not really. Surratt has the most touchdowns of any receiver, it looks like. They have totaled in receiving 46 total touchdowns, longest play of 65 yards in scoring. And overall, in receiving yards, this Indiana team is at 3,640. That's not in the postseason. That's all like postseason, regular season, all that when you total it up. So, um, obviously, we got the Heisman winner, Fernando Mendoza, 83 carries for him rushing, 284 yards. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns. Not the biggest runner for Indiana. He only averages about 3.5 a carry usually, but he never really has those moments where he has to take off for a big run. If you really watch Indiana, the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, but really on that offensive line, I mean, I remember watching the Rose Bowl, and I remember telling my dad we were watching it. You know, we're Alabama fans, and I was watching. I said, "Dude, I've never seen an O line just dominate like Indiana did, at least in that game." And I had saw the what was the game earlier? I saw the first game with Oregon for Indiana, but there was one in the regular season. I think it was Penn State. And even though that was close and they struggled a little bit, they still had a great game. They still look like a team that, like, okay, they can be beat, but they could also beat up on anybody, um, kind of thing. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on Indiana. We got to talk a little bit about Miami here. A little bit more prepared on this team here, but Carson Beck at quarterback, 3,581 yards. Mark Fletcher Jr., killer running back, over 1,000 yards rushing. Malachi Tony, 1,000-yard receiver. He's the only 1,000-yard receiver they have this year. They also have a couple other guys. Joshua Moore is really good at 209 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. Malachi Tony, by the way, the lead receiver in yardage and touchdowns at 9. Keelan Marion is at 740 in receiving yards, averages about 13 per reception. And excuse me, he's got only 2 touchdowns. So that's a guy that's really good. He's been highlighted a lot to get big plays. He doesn't really find the end zone too much. After Malachi Tony, though, with 9 touchdowns, you go to the next best receiving threat as far as finding the end zone in CJ Daniels. 46 receptions, 495, 7 touchdowns. So they have the weapons too. It's kind of like this too. You look at the defensive side of things, Bryce Fitzgerald, Mohamed Toure, for Miami just looks really, really good. And overall, it's Indiana's got a really good defense too, with Lewis Moore and 6 interceptions, and Elijah Hardy with 99 tackles on the year. Aiden Fisher at linebacker with 3.5 sacks. Elijah Hardy with 8 sacks, by the way. Stephen Daly on the defensive line with 5.5. Just a bunch. 45 sacks for this Indiana defense. Compare it to Miami with 47 sacks. I'll say this. I think you have to give credit to both sides of the ball for both teams. Both are tremendous. Indiana, we've seen it all year long. Miami, did they win? Remind me again. I think they won that Notre Dame game, and they looked pretty good. Or maybe that was like one of their losses. But they did struggle in that game, and it looked like it was just going to be another year for Miami where they were just going to hit maybe 8 or 9 wins and just barely miss everything. But this is a team that has looked really solid. And I feel like Miami's just gotten better and better throughout the season here in 2025. So they did win that Notre Dame game. I got it pulled up here. Their 2 losses are interesting. Carson Beck started both of those games. A 26-20 overtime loss on November 1st to SMU on the road. And then Louisville lost 24-21 on Friday, October 17th. But then they got to the playoffs, right? Did not make the ACC title, by the way. Texas A&M, they play them 10-3. You're thinking, okay, well, close game. Someone had to win it. This was at Texas A&M, by the way, in Kyle Field. You say, well, they got the road win. They did what they had to do. Carson Beck looked okay at times. Not the best performance. Then they get to Ohio State in the the Cotton Bowl quarterfinal, and they win by 10. Beck had a great day. Doesn't look like it on the scoreboard. I know it's only 24 points, but 138 is pretty good on Ohio State's defense. Ohio State's got a good defense. Then this previous game, a close one with Ole Miss, you see a little bit more offense from them. You also see the defense struggle. Now, the challenge got tougher as it went. In a way, there was a step up in a challenge from A&M to Ohio State. I think we all know that. I don't want to say there was a step up in a challenge from Ohio State to Ole Miss. However, they didn't look as good against Ole Miss as they did against Ohio State, which is kind of, it's a little weird that happens. So if Miami is preparing the way they've been preparing, and I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but let's say if there's a trend here for Miami, that would mean that not that they win this game, which I doubt they're going to win. I got Indiana. I'll go ahead and spoil it for everybody. Shocker, right? But we could expect maybe a little bit of good offense from them in this game, but they're going to give up a crap ton of points to Indiana, right? Because of the trend. The defense just did not show up consistently in back to back playoff games. It showed up great to start out. You didn't have much for the offense. The offense got better. And from what I noticed, in my opinion, I felt like the defense kind of regressed going forward in these playoffs for Miami. For the Hoosiers, um, it's a little different, I guess. I mean, they killed Oregon. They also killed my Crimson Tide. They had the first round bye. They're the number one overall seed. 38-3 against 56-22 against Oregon. Little bit of defensive struggles, but offense killed it. It's like Mendoza just does not take his foot off the gas, and Kirk Cignetti just wants to put up as much points as possible. I don't think I don't want to say that he is the coach that wants to run the score up on you just to show off, though. I feel like it's just no matter who they play, it's like we want to score every chance we get. Like they're just so focused, determined, and disciplined in this game. Or really in the season in football, that they're just going to give it everything they got, no matter what. So I don't know. I'll kind of stop there. But you guys let me know what you think about both sides of the ball for both teams. Final words on that. I feel like regardless of the last couple playoff games for these teams, I feel like both teams are playing the best that they can right now. And I also think that this is not a fair game for Miami. The spread is 8.5 in favor of the Hoosiers. And I get that. I think that's in a way, I feel like that's being generous to Miami because depending on which Indiana shows up, I'm not saying offense, I'm talking defense. What defense is going to show up for Indiana, I think is the real question. Are they going to struggle and give up some points? We know Mendoza is going to have a heck of a day. And then you got to ask yourself, too, which Carson Beck shows up for Miami and which defense shows up. It's both sides of the ball for Miami that you have to question. And then I think it's the defense you have to question for Indiana. You don't have to question if they're good. If any of that's good, you kind of question a little bit like, okay, can they play for 4 quarters? That's what I want to say there. Yeah, that's good. So anyway, that being said, I don't want to make this one too long on you guys. I do have Indiana winning 8.5-point spread. I feel like this will be a fun championship game to watch. I really do. And in a way, the score prediction here, I'll go ahead and throw it up. I'm not even worried about it too much, but it's so hard to predict championship games. Miami could win this game. The credit to them for playing at home at least. I mean, it's the Dolphin Stadium, but whatever, it's on campus. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida for the national title 2026. Miami's at home. There might be more Miami fans. That doesn't really mean that they're going to win the game. But I feel like could it get a little rowdy on defense, and could Miami create a little bit of turnovers and pressure for Mendoza? Sure, they could. I don't know if they will, though. Maybe, but I see an offensive game here. I see an offensive game. I think Carson Beck's going to have a great day, and I think Mendoza's just going to light it up. I think the message to Indiana should be finish what you started. For Miami, it's go shock the world. Because we know, look, we know Indiana's going to win this game, at least at the moment. we're not trying to say they're unbeatable. We're just saying they're the best, and it sets up everything aligns right in front of them to win this game and finish the job. Miami shocked the world. It's not, oh my God, the biggest upset in college football history, but it's going from a like, was anyone going to pick Miami to make the national championship in the preseason? I didn't. So they kind of go from this underdog to at the top of the sport, at least in terms of making a national title, when people said maybe they'll get 8 or 9 wins. And here they sit with 13, looking to play in their 16th game of this season and go 14-2. I know they got 2 losses, but if you can win a title, you can win a title. Indiana looks to be the first team ever to go 16-0. It's kind of funny because, you know, it's true, but it wasn't. But 7, 8 years ago, we talked about Clemson being the first 15-0 team. So anyway, close it on this note. 42-31. I got Indiana winning. Now, it could be a lot worse than that for Miami. Here's the thing. If Miami wins, I think it comes down to the wire and it's a close game. I don't see them winning by multiple possessions. Indiana, easily see that. But Miami's a good team, and I think we got to give them credit where it's due. You got to give them their props. Credit to Carson Beck. He's had a heck of a college career. It has not been easy. It wasn't all that great at Georgia. I mean, he looked good at times, but then there was last year with like the interceptions talk and stuff like that, and he entered the draft and then he pulled out of the draft and then he went to Miami and a lot of people kind of doubted him a little bit, but he's looked phenomenal. And I think he could get his guys ready for this game to have a good offensive performance. On the other side, you got Fernando Mendoza and company um, that could do the same. So, and if they could do the same, if it's based on what we've seen this year, we know good and well that overall Indiana's just going to run away with this. And when I say run away, I'm not saying they're going to blow them out like completely, but let's say if it is close in the fourth quarter, who do you trust? Do you trust Miami to get some stops defensively? Sure. But at the same time, what's more likely? Like, it's likely that Miami could win a close game. It's also likely that Indiana doesn't fold and just keep scoring. That's Curt Cignetti, man. He doesn't care. You say, "Oh, show some class, don't run the score." He don't care, man. And I'm not trying to be mean about the guy. I'm not. But that's just kind of what we've seen from him. So, but y'all let me know in the comments your score predictions. I've gone on too long. I love y'all, and I'm just excited for this one. As far as going live for the game, I I might not. I don't know yet, but probably getting this semester started with school and everything is probably best not to. I got to focus on my studies, so I'm gonna watch the game for sure. But overall, I think Indiana could do it. I think they finished the job, and yeah, it's been a fun college football season. I just want to thank y'all for the love and support. And hopefully, I'm a little bit wrong on the score. I mean, it'd be cool to be right, but a lot of points for Miami, but a lot more for Indiana is kind of how I feel at this moment. Maybe it changes, maybe it doesn't by the time the game kicks off. I don't know. But anyway, love you guys. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. God bless. And we'll see you next time here at BSM.